Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Hello and welcome to my latest Doctor Who video. They're not doing particularly well with views, but it doesn't matter. I love Doctor Who. The series is active. And welcome to my ranking of every new Who series apart from season 12. Now, we're not putting season 12 in this ranking. It would be absolutely pathetic. I'm sorry, you guys. You can't judge a canvas before it's been fully realised. So let's start. Right. So we are going to start from the bottom to the top, and I'm not going to say from worst to best because whether you're a Jodie Whittaker fan, whether you're a season 11 fan or you're not, there are a lot of kids who love Jodie's Doctor. And last year we were all reacting a bit unkindly, I think. Criticism and constructive criticism is great. So someone I follow and follows me on Twitter, great guy by the way, but he was saying, why isn't anyone allowed to criticise Jodie? We are. I criticised Jodie so many times. Do you know how many arguments I had with people? Very few. And they stopped after a few exchanges. I think it's when you call someone Whittaker the hateful or Chibs the idiot. That's when people get offended. And that's right, because you're going personal. And this isn't personal. Yes, it's personal. Look, I know we love Doctor Who personally, and it's very important about us. And we spend hours and hours talking about it and watching it. I understand. But to these people, it's a job. They are artists. They are creatives. We've got to understand that. They are doing what they think is right. Now, what they think is right may be wrong in our eyes, but there's no need to go in. So I'm going to say my first, I'm going to put number 11 at the bottom of the pile because it's the one I've least enjoyed. Now, I did clarify this in my review this week for Praxis that I do get what Chibnall is doing with self-contained episodes. And because all these episodes were self-contained in season 11, it literally was this kid's entertainer as the Doctor, this kind of look and read thing where it's very easy for young children to follow the historical lessons. So season 11 is more more educational than entertaining, and that's fine. And I did get a little bit out of it. I just didn't get that buzz and excitement I got of Eccleston and Tennant running around or Matt Smith's Doctor when I finally got into him. So, so I'm putting season 11 down there. I don't have the hate for it I did last year. I think we were all angry last year. And I have found myself a lot more supportive, especially seeing the changes that Chibnall's made with season 12. He's listened to people. This is what I like. He's listened to people's criticism. But people are still attacking him, right? But he'll listen. He'll take all that on board again. But obviously, the representation thing isn't going away. Doctor Who has always been representational since it came back in 2005. It's all there. Jesus Christ, we had John Barrowman, a gay actor, kissing the Doctor on screen. And it was one of the most beautiful moments I've ever seen in Doctor Who history. And I know a lot of you will be offended by that. But anyway, so yes, season 11 is in the bottom of my list. Now, I've got to try. This is not scripted, so I hope I don't forget any seasons, right? So season 11 is at the bottom of that pile. Now, ironically and easily, I would say that season 10 is the next one to be in my list, in my ranking. Season 10 is definitely better in places than season 11 in entertainment format, but my problem with it is this. A lot of the episodes, I'm watching them and I'm just there because it's Doctor Who, and I'm always going to support Doctor Who. There were times last season where I kind of said to you guys, I'm going to stop watching, but nah, it's Doctor Who. I'm always going to support it. So, yes, there were episodes that I just got really bored. I never connected or related to Peter Capaldi's Doctor. I'm going to be honest, I love Peter Capaldi as an actor. He's an amazing actor with an amazing CV, and at times he was an excellent Doctor. He just wasn't my Doctor, unfortunately. So I never connected with Peter Capaldi's Doctor, sadly. So then I have to look at what would I put next. I would say that I'm going to say season 8 would be next on my list. Is it season 8? Yeah, season 8, yeah. Now, season 8 is an interesting season, and if it was just on individual episodes, it will be a lot higher. The reason for that is because I love the double finale. I think it's awesome. And Moffat did cause controversy with the cremating bodies suffering. And everyone was going, you can't do that. That's so bad. And I never understood the controversy. Now, I don't know what it's like to be dead. I don't know what it's, I don't know if I have consciousness. But listen, I know it fueled people, but I thought it was a great controversy and it was a great debate. And I actually liked that whole finale. That was really, really exciting. Unfortunately, we started off with Deep Breath, right? Which was a great introduction for the Doctor. He was nasty. He was calling people the wrong names. He was amazing. So I thought this could be the best Doctor ever, right? And we do live in this time. The bestest ever. I don't think every Doctor needs to be the bestest ever. But I just thought we were going to get something really refreshingly different, right? And they watered him down. And they turned it into the Clara show. They turned it into the Clara show because all the young women that they're desperate to keep, I'm losing my words, they're desperate to keep all the younger female viewers, right? So what happened was, when Peter Capaldi was cast, all these young girls were going, I'm not watching this. He's old, he's got grey hair, he's older than my dad. You know, the usual crap, the ageist crap that some of these young girls come up with there. So they decided, we can have this older Doctor. And then we got Clara, who can appeal to these young teens, right? So it was perfect for them. So it became the Clara show. And, I mean, I still remember Moffat's gag with introducing Clara as the Doctor. And actually, when I first saw that, I was kind of excited. I thought, this is a good twist. But it was all a big gag. I mean, I think when we got to that stage of Moffat's tenure, I thought, this guy just doesn't want to be here anymore. And that's proof that the BBC allow you to do what you want as a showrunner with Doctor Who. I don't know if this made the BBC nervous, but this guy literally was... I don't think he was even giving us the finger. He was giving the BBC a finger. He no longer, and he admitted it when he announced he left. Even his mate Gattis has said the BBC have been keeping him prisoner. You know, crazy stuff. They wouldn't let him go. And in the end, he was rebelling. And this is why the final part of his Doctor Who era just wasn't much fun anymore. As I say, if I go back to season 10, there are elements I love. Of course, the finale for season 10 is amazing. His final Christmas special was pretty awesome, bringing back the first Doctor, meeting Peter Capaldi's Doctor. So, yes, season 8 is one of those weird ones. And Danny Pink was an interesting character. He hated the Doctor, which was difficult, of course, for the viewer. Basically, making the Doctor... There's one thing making the Doctor Dr. Gregory House arsehole, right? But there's another thing when you've got a character putting down your hero constantly. And it's not even a journey. Even in the end, he didn't really respect the Doctor. And in normal storytelling terms, you have characters that don't like each other, that are on the hero's side. But in the end, they learn to get along and they have a new respect for each other. And maybe the Doctor had the Doctor was pulling his chain all the time because he was that kind of a Doctor. I just feel in the end I would have liked an admittance of a mutual respect. So that's season 8. So where would I go? This is interesting because I've got a choice out of season 9 and season 7, right? So season 9 and season 7, this is interesting. I'm going to say season 7 because season 7 was, in New Who terms, was an absolute mess. Now, the quality of the episodes weren't terrible, but they decided to have the first 5 episodes of the season be a long goodbye for Amy and Rory. And this was really, really problematic to me. It took me out the show. I wasn't interested. I wasn't emotionally invested. I was never really emotionally invested in those two companions, even though I preferred Rory to Amy. And by the time she goes, you're glad that she goes. It was kind of emotional. It was kind of a great exit. I wasn't over feeling it, but I wasn't feeling Doctor Who since Russell T Davies left because that's where my hat is. on Russell T Davies, even though I think Stephen Moffat did some great things with Doctor Who. Yeah, so when you lose Amy and Rory, you get Clara. The show does become a bit more reinvigorated. The whole mystery around Clara I loved. I didn't mind that she was just a plot device. That's fine. I didn't need her to be anything else at that time. I liked the mystery. I loved Mystery Box TV. Yes, so I would put season 7 below season 9 just because it was a mess. It was a narrative mess. It was two different. Basically, Moffat went down this season A and season B. So basically, you had two parts to a season. Personally, that can work. Sometimes it can work, but it didn't really work there. I think the second part of Series 7 was better than the first part. Once we got rid of Amy and Rory, I think we had some really, really good, interesting episodes. And of course, The Name of the Doctor, one of the best episodes of Doctor Who ever made, and I really liked that. Now, Stephen Moffat came back with Series 9. Now, I like this season. Apart from the finale that nobody likes, right? A few people like it, right? But we'll go into that a bit later. But Season 9 is really, really strong. I loved the idea of the billboards, the big billboard titles, the two-parter thing. I really liked that. I think apart from one episode, they were all two-parters, and they were really, really good. The opener with Davros, and what they did with Davros was amazing. I thought Capaldi was amazing. They stopped. So I really liked Season 9, and I liked the fact they came in all guns blazing with Missy as well. So I love Series 9. It was really, really good. And they even had Maisie Williams, and she was a good character. She was interesting in it. I mean, Moffat has a certain way of writing females, and sometimes the way he writes them can be so over the top, they just don't work. I definitely beg to differ. Sometimes maybe women should write women, but not all the time. But Moffat certainly has an interesting idea of what women are. When you stereotype genders and people, this is when you get yourself into trouble. But anyway, right, obviously Hell, which one? Heaven Sent is the one when the Doctor's trapped after Clara dies, right? So you have this whole thing, right, when Clara dies. It's compelling. It's a great sacrifice. Even though some of us may have not liked her, we can respect her sacrifice and see the Doctor grieving for a whole episode. It was amazing, and then the whole thing's a mindfuck, and he ends up on Gallifrey. Wow, there's going to be a war on Gallifrey, the Doctor versus the Time Lords. This is going to be amazing. Maybe we'll even get some reveals about the Doctor's origins, which some of you I know don't like. No, it was a whole device, the finale, to bring Clara back and give her and Ashilda this happily ever after ride of their lives on the TARDIS. No, I didn't like it. I thought the episode, look, as an episode, as a production, it was okay. It was the entertainment wasn't the issue. He created something massive, and then he brought her back. Now, it's interesting because Russell T Davies in season 2 on Doctor Who Confidential was teasing all year that he was going to kill Rose off. The media were teasing us they were going to kill Rose off because he had a twist for us to make us think she was going to die, and she didn't. That was perfectly fine because he didn't kill her and bring her back to life. It just made it look like she was going to die. She even said, in the narration of the beginning of the first episode of the finale, I'm Rose Tyler. Literally saying she died, right? And in a psychological way, she did die. It was very clever. But in terms of what he did, he ruined the whole season. But I will say, I do like season 9 of Doctor Who. Now, it's interesting. So we've got Series 6 next. Now, Series 6 is next on my list because I can't really put it any higher than that. It's a really good, interesting season. Stephen Moffat came back and turned Doctor Who into an American-type show. We even started season 6 in America. He gave us this really, really big arc. Now, in the past, RTD had these arcs where he just had a word and he teased us with a word. Now, some people don't like that. I think it's excellent because with that, you just have to put the word in certain episodes and people go, what's going on? But then you can still get on with the self-contained story. It was a clever way of doing it without having to waste so much time on an arc, a whole episode on an arc. It was clever. right? And it just kept the traditional companion doctor dynamic, travelling through space and time, not knowing where they're going to arrive next, really flowing. But Moffat decided to come into season 6 and do this whole American TV series on. I thought it worked. I really liked it, but it was a culture shock for many Doctor Who fans, especially the older ones, and a lot of people were complaining about this. Personally, us Doctor Who fans are always complaining about something. You're never going to please us, but don't ever stop trying. Thank you. But I thought it was excellent. So you had the whole Doctor Death Date thing, and he kept on looking at it. And I think Matt Smith was really bringing it to the table, but I still didn't embrace him as my Doctor. But then I never embraced David Tennant as the Doctor to the last of the Time Lords. It takes me a long time. That's why I'm not surprised I haven't totally embraced Jodie as the Doctor yet. It's for no other reason, because I take a long time to get used to new Doctors. It's normally nearly just before they go. It's ridiculous. So the Snowman is when I embraced Matt Smith. But season 6, he was amazing. We had loads of River Song. And then we had that massive episode, didn't we? And I've even forgot what it was called. A Good Man Goes to War. What an episode of sci-fi TV. We saw Matt Smith as we never saw him before. And finally, we found out who River was. And that whole speech he makes about how he started off and look where he is now as a soldier, as a warrior, how things have changed, how he's changed. And Murray Gold's music while she's saying all of this, it was absolutely fantastic. I do really like Series 6. There are some really good episodes. There's no question about it. The first part of Series 6 started really strongly with the art. The second part was really filler after filler. We came back with the Hitler episode, whatever it was called, right? I liked that because that was very arc involved. But then we went filler after filler, and we were just kind of wasting time. I feel Series 6 only having a one-part finale was very problematic. I think we needed a 2-part epic finale like we had with Series 5. So talking of Series 5, this was the first season of Stephen Moffat's Doctor Who. And I'll tell you what, I was mourning Russell T Davies, Julie Gardner, Phil Collinson and David Tennant every day. Every day. It was weird for me because I was really enjoying Series 5. I thought it was really different and amazing, but I couldn't embrace Matt Smith as the Doctor. And I just couldn't get into Amy. She was a bit miserable, bolshy, and that was hard to get into. She was in your face straight away. And I was still, trying to get over Donna and the Doctor and all of that. So I was enjoying these episodes and I thought they were great and they were interesting, but it just wasn't my Doctor Who yet. But I thought it was very strong, and I thought season 5 was a very strong, unique season. And unlike most of you, I think Victory of the Daleks is a really fine episode. I can't remember one episode from season 5 where I think I don't like this. We had was it the Chris Chibnall 2-parter? I thought that was amazing as well. I just thought that it was really even though I wasn't there yet because Moffat's Doctor Who was so different to RTD's. It was hard to take it all in. It was like being on the merry-go-round and you were just like dizzy. Yeah, this is good, but I want the other way back. And I must admit, at first, I was so critical of Moffat changing things so dramatically because I missed RTD so much. But looking back now, season 5 was amazing. So I think when we look at, it's going to be interesting what I put on top spot, but I think when I think about it, I'm going to put series 2 of the Russell T Davies era in here now, rank it here now, right? I haven't even given them numbers, but you get what I'm doing. I don't have to give them numbers. I've lost count already. We're doing from least favourite to best. That's all you need to know. So my next one is series 2. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of series 2. Series 2 was a problem for me because I was missing Christopher Eccleston's Doctor. I didn't know at the time that there was so many production problems in the background with Eccleston, and the BBC even blacklisted him. God knows what was going on there. Imagine if Jodie Whittaker had caused so much trouble. The Fandom Menace will be having a field day. You could see old neurotics hearing the dollar signs chiming in his eyes, right? But anyway, I love Christopher Eccleston as an actor, and I love him as the Doctor. He's a great Doctor, and I really, really missed him. And season 2, you had this younger, cooler Doctor. Him and Rose were flirting. Rose was wearing low cut tops. You could see her cleavage. And I must admit, it wasn't fun for me at times. Now, New Earth as a season premiere was good, solid. It wasn't the most exciting premiere ever, but it was a good, solid episode. But the thing is, it's funny actually because everybody hates Love and Monsters. It is so frustrating. The Doctor's not really in this episode that much, and I spotted it from the first 2 minutes of the episode. It was obvious, but you know what? I loved Elton. Was that his name? I loved the actor who played him. I loved this story, and I thought it was a really funny, emotional, really great story. And I thought Russell T Davies, did a good thing there, did a really good, solid episode. So I enjoyed that episode. But of course, our complaints are it's very Doctor-like. And of course, that's true. I like the Idiot's Lantern. It's very solid. Again, nothing like what Gatiss gave us in season 1 with The Unquiet Dead. That's his best Doctor Who entry for me. Anyway, I thought that was amazing. So when we got it was, and one of my favourite parts about series 2 is the Cybermen. I love the way they look. I love what they did with Cybus Industries. It was very clever. The alternate kind of universe and all of that, and the emotional elements of meeting Pete Tyler again, but an alternate version, a warrior, a rebel, brilliant. And we had an excellent emotional series finale. I liked Rose in season 1. In season 2, I felt that Russell was trying to make us dislike her so we wouldn't be as upset when she left. I just got the impression she was a lot more annoying and frustrating. And one of my favourite episodes was the one in the Olympics of 2012 when she goes, "No one's ever going to split us up." And he goes, the Doctor does this, looks in the sky and says, "Never say never ever. Something is coming." And the look on Tennant's face was great. And her smile drops, and I think, now you know what it's like to travel with the Doctor. This ain't some fun, romantic ride. It's like when they had that 2-part on the space station, and she's like talking about them setting up because the TARDIS is gone in outer space. And he's like most blokes, I'll just be going now. It was hilarious, right? So I would say that season 2 was okay. It was entertaining, but definitely not one of my favourite seasons, but definitely far superior than the ones I've ranked beneath. So we have got now seasons 4, 3 and 1 left, right? So this is a difficult one. I'm going to start the final 3 with Doctor Who season 1. It is an excellent reintroduction to our hero, the Doctor. It is brilliant. Rose is an excellent companion, a better companion than what she was in season 2. I really, really liked it. Some really brave, interesting choices. Eccleston is tall. He's got great screen presence. He's very northern. He's gritty. I love his Doctor. The Dalek episode was groundbreaking. The brand new design the gritty design for the Daleks as we know them now was so awesome. Because as much as I love the Daleks in Classic Who, you kind of know that they're fake because they didn't have the money to make them look better. But this was amazing. But Nicholas Briggs doing the voice of the Daleks was one of the most powerful vocal performances I've ever seen. An amazing episode. And people talk about Chibnall not being able to create good original villains for Doctor Who episodes in season 11 and 12. Well, Van Stanton was amazing. Not a proper villain, but he was a really great foil for the Doctor in that episode. And the season 1 double finale is one of my favourite finales in series television. I would include the Torchwood double series finale of season 1, Smallville season 4, 24 season 4, things like that. Some of the greatest stuff you'll see, so climactic, the battles, the Dalek spaceships coming out, the laser fights, the emotional element between Rose becoming Bad Wolf and that great reveal. And what I like about the Bad Wolf arc It's actually satisfying that you hear the name mentioned and then you find out what it means, and it's brilliant. I want to keep you safe, my doctor, from the false god. And that's the moment the Captain Jack that we know and love is born, reborn. Amazing. So season 1 would be in, if you like, the bottom of my top 3, but it's an amazing introduction to the Doctor. So then I would have to go, season 4. Season 4 is very strong. This is Russell T Davies' final series. Now, there are some dead weights, like the Agatha Christie one, which I don't totally hate, but I wasn't totally invested in either. But mostly season 4 is very, very good, and I enjoyed it. And bringing back Catherine Tate, and do you remember the uproar when people heard Donna Noble was coming back? Don't like her, she's so common in this, and she shouts blah, blah, blah. She was amazing, and the way her story ended was so tragic. And this is the difference between Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat, because Russell T Davies actually gave one of his favourite companions, his characters, a horrible, tragic ending that really worked. Do you know why it works? Because it powers the Doctor's dynamic through his final episodes, the specials. It was such a powerful moment. Donna first met the Doctor being this really angry young woman because no one had ever shown her any love. And if you don't teach people love, if they're not used to receiving love, they become hateful and angry, and that's what Donna was, threatening to sue everyone. But then she met the Doctor, and the Doctor gave her this love, and it was a beautiful dynamic. And they went on these adventures, and she taught the Doctor as much as he taught her. And Tennant and Tate were TNT, were amazing together. And when she goes and Murray's emotional music comes on, the way he does it, it's kind of semi-electric guitar, if I remember it. It is off the scale amazing. So that for me was an amazing final season. And the final episode with all these characters that RTD created in the TARDIS, flying the TARDIS together, it was beautiful. The return of Martha Jones, I absolutely love Martha Jones. And that's why in my New Who season ranking, season 3 is my favourite season of New Who to date. And this is why. The return of Captain Jack. Wow. Martha Jones. Let's be honest here. Season 3, at the end of season 3 was when I embraced Tennant's Doctor. And it was because he goes through this battle with the returning Master. Growing up in the Peter Davison era, the Master was my favourite villain. He's a humanoid. He's not a robot. He's not a Dalek. He's not a Cyberman. He is the Doctor's equal. He may even be beyond the Doctor's equal. But it's these people who were once friends, now enemies. It's so climatic. It's so amazing. And John Simmers, the Master, is absolutely fantastic. I'd just come off binging Life on Mars with John Sim. Amazing actor. And the levels that this guy puts into his Master are amazing. There were criticisms of being overly campy, but I don't agree. He was amazing. Martha Jones, Freema Agyeman, there's so many superlatives I could throw her way. First of all, she came in, after a very, very, very popular companion. I love Billie Piper. I mostly like Rose, but I think Rose was really dragging Tennant's Doctor down in a way. There were some things they couldn't do creatively because of this so-called we're in love thing. But once she went, I could feel a sigh of relief from David Tennant and Russell T Davies. Creatively, they had more freedom to do anything they wanted. So the Smith and Jones episode, one of my favourite launchers for a New Who episode, for a New Who season, thought it was amazing. I love the Judoon. I really, really did. The introduction to the Judoon, of course, we've seen them in season 12 now, but amazing. So many great episodes. The only thing that let Martha down really was her extended family. The mother was all right, but they really didn't get into that family dynamic. He tried in Smith and Jones, but Russell seemed to I think there was a time where he kind of realised that Martha was only going to be there for season 3, so he probably thought, nah, I don't have to do much with them. That's the only thing that let Martha down. Apart from that, the writing for Martha, I love the whole idea of her having this unrequited love for the Doctor, and he can't really notice. He doesn't really notice her. He does as a friend, as a companion, but he just doesn't fancy her. How can you not fancy Freema Agyeman? I mean, she's gorgeous, isn't she? I'd love to travel with her in the TARDIS, but anyway, she was a really well-written, well-balanced companion. And the two-parter, when the Doctor gets his DNA rewritten, I think Freema is at her absolute level best in that episode as Martha. That's an amazing episode. But it was all the way through. It was simply a fantastic season. My favourite season of Doctor Who. And then we got a triple finale where RTD, that evil genius, revealed the Master in such a beautiful way. Yana is this nice old professor. We all like him. Then he reveals himself as the Master. Now, it's very similar to what Chibnall did with the Master reveal. It was a bit different, but it was kind of someone we thought was a nice guy. So it was a bit of a copy on that. He kind of twisted it around the same way. It doesn't really matter. It was still shocking when we saw who the Master was in Spyfall. But this was excellent. To have an actor on that level. No, having two actors, iconic actors, playing the Master in one story is simply amazing. And we just didn't see it coming. It was absolutely fantastic. I think what I'll do tomorrow is kind of look at maybe Christmas specials. Maybe I might have something else to talk about. Haven't decided yet. But what do you think? Is season 3 your favourite New Who season? Or did I get it wrong? Is there something in there that you would have put higher or lower? We all have different opinions. I know, because I watch so many Doctor Who YouTubers. But please like, share and subscribe. Please share the video. Please share the channel. Please comment down below and let me know what you think. And I'll be back tomorrow with even more Doctor Who. God, this video went on a bit. Even my throat's having a go at me.